Do you think of Trump's going right his way?
Hey guys, thank you so much for being with us. As you can see, Gene Hayward is with us today. Gene, thanks for being on the show. How you doing?
Well, I'm just as goofy as ever. So what's up with you?
So I wanted to talk to you about A$AP Rocky. You know who A$AP Rocky is?
As soon as possible, get it together.
Right. I said this guy needs to get a lawyer ASAP. Let me show you the footage.
Which lawyer? Which guy needs a lawyer?
So he's a rapper. He's a rapper that was in
rapper
Sweden.
First and ball player second, or ball player / rapper? Which came first?
Ball player first.
What makes him think he can rap?
Olympic swimmer.
What's his name?
Pablo Morales.
Oh, I'm not familiar with Pablo Morales. He must be Mexican, or is he Spaniard or Latino?
He's an American just like you.
How could that be with Morales as a Mexican? That's him? Whoa! That's her?
You guys, you can't be serious. The sunglasses thing.
Turn it up so I can hear that.
We are Wayner. We believe in living a life without compromise. It all started with the Hook, our flagship frame that can open beer bottles. We traveled the world and found the best manufacturers, the best materials, and the best.
So
put it
so they're
and
monetized.
everyone loves our
See how they're monetized? Because
do that.
I used to have that. I used to have that.
Sunglasses. They're stylish, great. They're also very durable.
Well,
Made out of
you
titanium.
yourself a
Always
pair?
break sunglasses.
Oh, they call it
And we just
hooks?
have, so far, stood the test.
What was it called now? The Hook?
American rapper A$AP Rocky is facing significant prison time in Sweden following accusations of physical assault, and he apparently has an unlikely ally in this case, Donald Trump. Kanye West spoke with Donald Trump, somehow was able to communicate with him and get Donald Trump involved in this case. A$AP Rocky still needs to stand trial, and he faces 2 years in prison. He was not let out on bail. They do not have a cash bail system in Sweden. So he has to remain in custody in Sweden until his court date. And so Trump got word of this and tweeted the following. Very disappointed in Prime Minister Stefan Löfven for being unable to act. Sweden has let our African American community down in the United States. I watched the tapes of A$AP Rocky, and he was being followed and harassed by troublemakers. Treat Americans fairly, hashtag free Rocky. So I'm going to show you a video of the incident, and just understand that the prosecutor in Sweden argues that there's more video evidence that the public hasn't seen. But with that said, here's what we know so far. Here's what we've seen so far. Let's go to the first video where A$AP Rocky can be heard telling the man to leave them alone.
This is Heiser.
You go down that way. You're trying you right now. Go that way.
You don't have an external speaker? Even wireless?
No, get out of here.
Well, you sold it to Jesse.
Yeah, that's right.
Are they going to whip his ass or what? I want to trade seats so I can see what eye.
They're just following him around.
Oh, much better.
We don't want to fight y'all. We're not trying to go to jail.
My headphone. I want my headphones.
I want to down the street. Go down the street. Go down the street. It's okay, bro.
Why you? Man, I want my headphones.
Stop.
Why stop? My iPhone.
Just for the cameras, we don't want no problems with these boys. They keep following us. Look at them.
You mean that one cell phone camera, that grainy cell phone camera? Like they're being followed by paparazzi.
This is Sweden?
Yeah. Isn't it great? American rappers fighting the Arabs in the streets. I like how it's empty. Though. See, there's like no one around.
I didn't know that's how
In the
Sweden
United
streets
States,
were.
there are people everywhere. It's horrible.
I didn't even know how Sweden was. The streets I've never seen. Streets. I didn't know they were that way.
Go somewhere. Go that way, bro, before you get hurt. We don't want to hurt y'all. Go that way, bro.
Okay, so the next video is of the actual fight that broke out as a result of all of this. But the case that A$AP Rocky and his team are making is that they were defending themselves, that these
I don't think they threw
guys
those
were
other guys
following
in
them,
jail.
they wouldn't leave them
Watch what
alone.
happens.
You can hear in that video, they allege that one of them got hit by the headphones, which is why they took the headphones away. And the bigger guy is the security guard for A$AP Rocky. So sort of one more video. This is the TMZ video that was published that shows how the fight kind of unfortunately devolved.
She's fuckable. A lot of them are, though. Newscasters. Oh, shit. I hope the Americans are winning, are they? I hope they put on a good show for it.
I guess he used a bottle. That's where he crossed the. Wow, you know, they're ganging up.
Oh,
on
this
him,
is a
they
great.
should.
This is a cell they gang.
Okay, so let's break it down. We're going to get to Trump in a second. First on the fight. Look, A$AP Rocky has a good point that they tried not to fight. 1,000 times tried. They're like, please go away, please go away. So that'll be interesting in court, right? And I'm curious the way that the jury or the judge is going to wind up ruling on this case. On the other hand, the prosecutors are saying,
is that when it happened?
yes, but you didn't have to fight. You could just keep walking. And you chose to engage in this altercation. And they claimed that there was a bottle involved. So there was a weapon involved. And while the prosecutors also appear to be right, could they have kept walking? Yes. Were the guys annoying? Yes. So both sides are right in that case. That fight didn't need to happen. So that based on what we've seen, the prosecutors claim they have more tape, as Anna pointed out. So if I'm looking at it, I go, am I positive that A$AP Rocky is the victim of a horrible injustice? No, I'm not remotely positive of that. Am I positive he's guilty? No, I'm not positive of that either. Right? And by the way, that's why you have courts. And so now, just my point of view on Trump's tweet. There was one part I liked. I liked when he said, treat Americans fairly. And he's the president of America. There's an African-American guy, and he's treating him like an American. Now, that's the lowest bar in American history, but oftentimes Trump doesn't clear that bar. And oftentimes he views African-Americans as not really Americans, as he did with Ayanna Pressley. So, okay, that part, congratulations. You acted like a president for the first time in your life in one portion of a tweet. Now, the part that's comical, though, is when he says, Sweden has let our African-American community down in the United States. What are you talking about? See, this is what Trump...
They have.
I mean,
they have?
No.
This guy's a rapper. I'm going to get ugly with black people by saying that I'm in favor of the rapper, right or wrong. And you didn't let our country down. You let our African-American community down because all black people like hip-hop and rap. And this guy, I mean, come on, he can't help himself.
Donald Trump does not get involved in anything unless there's something in it for him or unless some celebrity has reached out to him and encouraged him to do the right thing. So he partnered with Alice Johnson, because Kim Kardashian spoke to him, a celebrity spoke to him, and good for her for doing that. He gave her a lot of credit. But he will do it if he gets to hobnob with the right people or if it's going to benefit him politically. That being said, I mean, I'm glad he stepped in. I don't know how much it's really going to help, especially if he's going to, antagonize the very people who might have some ability to do something for A$AP Rocky. But at the same time, I mean, the fact that he thinks Sweden is letting the African-American community in America down is just, we all know that's ridiculous.
Yeah, his treatment of people like minorities and obviously women exist in massive generalizations, and obviously foreigners as well. Yet, the things that tend to motivate and incentivize Trump to action tend to be incredibly specific, almost like soap opera, right? Or reality TV, like, right? Because he's homies with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian West, that this somehow matters to him all of a sudden. So it's actually pretty surreal how these two blend together in the most powerful.
Absolutely great. I wanted to talk to you about, you know how on YouTube they have those channels where they literally have channels where you can watch people play video games.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's so much information online, right? There's so many ways to educate yourself. It's better than Harvard, better than any educational institution in the country.
Oh, online? Yeah.
But a lot of people don't use it for that. They think, okay, what's the biggest waste of time of this I could possibly use it for? I know, I'll watch somebody else play video games on YouTube.
Isn't that educational? How to play video games? That's how the kids get their physical exercise. So it's not educational. Mentally, you mean?
You think so?
IQ, yeah. I think by IQ wise, it stimulates them, but they need to have an educational channel more than videos. Yeah, you're right. It's a waste of time. Outlaw it. They should outlaw it. Trump should outlaw it. I don't know what to do anymore.
Are you going to vote for Bernie Sanders?
No.
Why?
I'm going to vote for Sanders Bernie. You always put Sanders and then Bernie. Don't they do it formal anymore?
Let's go ahead and take a
Whatever
look
happened
at the
to the old ways
latest
where
Bernie
I grew
Sanders
up,
video.
60s. Okay, I'll vote for Bernie Sanders.
You'll do it for me?
I'm ruining the show. I hate politics, if you want to know the truth.
Why?
I'll be dead by the time socialism comes. Move to Canada. I'll have to move to Canada first because I'm about ready to die. I wouldn't be a good. Jesse would have been better.
Let's see what CNN. I haven't seen this yet. We're now watching Bernie Sanders on CNN, folks. And we'll soon be playing
American-made
Grand Theft Auto. You can watch
it
this.
means a lot when we think about the decades that the DR product.
Joining me now in Detroit, 2020 presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders. And Senator Sanders, I know you want to talk about issues, but I do also want to talk about what President Trump said about your former colleague in the House, Elijah Cummings, and his district being, quote, a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess that no human being would want to live in. What's your response?
That's what he said.
Jake, it's
This is funny.
unbelievable that we have a president of the United States who attacks American cities, who attacks Americans, who attacks somebody who's a friend of mine. Elijah Cummings is one of the most decent and outstanding members of the House of Representatives. He fights every day to improve life in his community. I do find it interesting that when we have rural Republican districts where life expectancy is going down, where downtowns are boarded up, where people are struggling, and people are struggling in rural America, they're struggling in urban America, they're struggling in suburban America. Our job is to bring people together to improve life for all people, not to have a racist president who attacks people because they are African Americans. That is a disgrace, and that is why we're going to defeat this president.
He obviously thinks that these racist attacks will be effective. Are you concerned that they might be?
No, I don't. I think at the end of the day, the American people understand that whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Latino, Asian American, Native American, what we need is an agenda that works for all of us and not have a president who divides us up. We need health care for all. We need to lower the cost of prescription drugs. We need to make public colleges, universities tuition free. We need to cancel student debt. The American people are behind those issues. They will not accept a president trying to divide us up by the color of our skin or where we were born.
Let's talk about one of those issues specifically. You and other 2020 Democrats are going to be debating on the stage just steps from where we are right now. Your Medicare for All plan will be front and center, no doubt. Senator Kamala Harris says she supports it and she will not raise taxes on middle-class Americans to fund it. I want you to take a listen to what former Vice President Joe Biden had to say about that.
Well, I find that people will say that for Medicare for all, but they're not going to tax the middle class because we don't need to do that. Come on. What is this? Is this a fantasy world here?
Do you agree with Vice President Biden that Senator Harris?
Well, I think the first thing that we have to understand is under Medicare for all, similar to what Canada has, people are not going to pay any premiums. They're not going to pay any deductibles. They're not going to pay any co-payments.
Taxes.
If you call the premium,
what a liar! She's a liar.
But I do believe that in a progressive way, people
You've
will have
already
to pay
followed
taxes.
this.
The wealthy will have to
Because she's
pay
just trying to say that to get elected.
But at the end of the day,
liar.
the vast
You
majority
said
of
there was
people
plenty of
keep
money.
paying substantially less than
They're
the
trying to
healthcare
copy
that
his
we now
platform.
receive.
They're trying to outdo it. Well, okay, we're not going to increase taxes on middle class. You have to increase taxes a little bit. She's just saying that she's just trying to outdo him so she can beat him and then not follow through on the policy when she gets elected.
Lying
Bitch.
But overall, because they're not going to pay premiums, deductibles,
Get 'em,
co-payments,
Augie.
they'll be paying less
Get 'em.
for their health care.
So is Vice President Biden correct that anybody who says Medicare for all is going to happen, but we're not going to raise taxes on anybody or on the middle class?
No, I think
it's a fantasy world.
Well, obviously, healthcare is not free. Right now, we pay for it through premiums and out-of-pocket expenses. In Canada, it's paid through taxes. We'll have to do that.
A senior aide to former Vice President Biden is laying out his campaign's debate strategy in a new memo that they issued this weekend. The strategist writes, quote, he's going to draw a contrast where there are policy disagreements in the field, like on healthcare. Booker, Gillibrand, Harris, and Warren all have signed on to Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan, which means higher taxes on the middle class. That's a non-starter for Joe Biden. Now, you're not going to be on the stage with him.
Yeah.
The middle class. It's mainly the top tier that gets increases.
On the part of Joe. Yeah, it's going to mean higher taxes. But if I raise your taxes, say, hypothetically, by $8,000, and I lower the healthcare costs that you're now paying with premiums and deductibles, which are now $12,000, your $4,000 is good. We are the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care to all, or in one form or another have a national health care program. So we, under a Medicare for all, are going to substantially lower prescription drug costs. We're going to do away with the incredible complexity and bureaucracy and waste in the current system. But at the end of the day, again, you may pay more in taxes. You're not paying premiums. You're not paying co-payments. You're not paying deductibles. You will pay less for your health care costs than you're currently paying right now.
And you think Vice President Biden knows that?
Of course he knows. But nobody, every study out there tells us that Medicare for all will save substantial sums of money. Last year, the drug companies made $69 billion in profit at the same time as 1 out of 5 Americans can't afford the medicine that they need. So you're seeing massive profiteering on the part of the healthcare industry. You're seeing just incredible bureaucracy and waste. Anybody who deals
Bernie
with
would be the only one that could fucking
understands the kind of bureaucracy.
Exactly.
You're seeing now over 80 million Americans who cannot afford the health insurance that they need. They're either uninsured or they are underinsured.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a dysfunctional system designed to make profits for the people in the healthcare industry, not to provide quality care to all. We're going to end that.
You just talked about the drug companies. You're taking a bus to Canada later this morning to fight for more affordable insulin for people with diabetes. At a fundraiser last night here in Detroit, you appeared to compare pharmaceutical executives who are artificially jacking prices to murderers. Take a listen.
Not processed sugar.
Somebody goes out and shoots somebody, they're called a murderer.
He said it was stability.
He called it diabetes.
What happens?
Oh, diabetes?
If somebody runs the pharmaceutical industry and artificially jacks up the price.
Oh, somebody did say
pharmaceutical executives. I think, first of all, I misspoke. I said disabilities when I meant diabetes, obviously, for insulin. Pharmaceutical executives see themselves as people who help save lives and improve lives. Do you really see them as murderers?
Well, this is a philosophical issue that we have to deal with. If in the case of insulin, people are dying right now, the cost of insulin has soared in recent years. You have 3 companies who control over 90% of the insulin market.
Did you hear about Jesse?
1 out of 4 people, 7 million people use insulin. 1 out of 4 are rationing that insulin.
Nope, he don't
people are dying.
Deep drugs.
There is strong
$80
evidence
for a
that there's
month
price
for
fixing. That these companies simultaneously raise the prices.
The rest of them, that's all he can afford. They raised it to $6.49 without his insulin and a blood thinner to keep him from having strokes.
And I jack up that price, and you can't afford it.
He had a headache a while back, and days in bed, 3 days, he would have died.
So you can call them whatever you want.
He never got
insurance.
insurance.
President of the United States.
Isn't he covered? But isn't he covered under Medicare?
Somehow. Fucking Denver Health has been covered.
General,
You don't have it. He's got it. You don't have drugs. B, you don't have it.
And we're going to use
He just told me $650. Oh, you got to go to work.
No, because I've got the car. And thanks to you for helping me put in the battery. How did that go? That's 1 o'clock.
Oh, so you can leave you don't have to leave till 2:15 or so?
Yeah.
What does it take? Half hour to get there?
35, 40 minutes. I like to go Holly to Dartmouth, avoid all the annoying traffic, and that takes about 5 minutes longer. And thank you so much for being with us. Shout out, of course, Weird City Citizen. You've been absolutely amazing. The rest of you have faltered. You have not done well. You've not watched this as often as you should. You have not shared it. You are watching stuff. I've seen those vlogs. They're all the same. Cute girl. We're going to some stupid place, Hawaii. I bet you Hawaii sucks. Writing, you've got the cute little writing on the initial image there as you click on it. This is the real deal. We are no viewers. This is in depth, and you failed me. You failed me severely. You go to PayPal right now, and and you donate. And you donate to this channel and you get me an iPhone SE. I don't even want a new iPhone. I want an iPhone SE, about $150, so I can continue to provide great guests like Gene Hayward. How do you think we pay for these guests?